Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we're having a video a bit focused more on books, and I'll explain a bit more. My cat is currently circling around here, but yeah. So to start off, we are in the Christmas season. I have my red mug, and I also wanted to show you two little things that I have in my room, little ornaments. So I'm just going to grab them. First I have this ceramic tree that lights up. I think it's really cute. And then I have this one that I bought a couple years ago, and the light is almost non-existent. But it is a house, and I think it's really pretty. It's also ceramics. But anyway, what we're going to do today is, well, now I'm full of glitter. It's fine. So what we're going to do today, and I encourage you to grab your favorite warm drink, is to actually do a bit of something that you'll find on a reading journal, because I have currently finished this book right here, and you probably know it. It's A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, and I have took notes on it, a lot of notes, and I have also highlighted some passages, as you can see here, and it was a really good read. It's an essay about women and fiction and all of these important issues, but it's mostly about equality and how it translates then to literature. And it was, like I said, a really good read. I took some notes. Originally I was going to put them just in this notebook right here. I had started it with the first chapter and then the second one here. But then I was out and about, and I did not brought this notebook, so I started to use a piece of paper to just write these notes right here. So I wasn't sure if I was going to put it in that notebook that you have seen. Just going to leave this as it was. How was it anyway? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to leave it like this. I was going to put it on that notebook, but then I thought that this could be my notes on the go, so I don't have to grab a sheet of paper, and I could use just my journal, which is now currently full of glitter, to just do a bit of a reading journal setup. I had thought to get a reading journal for 2025, and my thing is, I am always like, should I get a specific journal for something and just divide things? For example, there was this really pretty notebook, one that I had seen years and years and years ago, and it was finally in store in a local place. And I was like, I really should bought it, because it's a sign. I have been admiring this notebook for so long, and it's finally in store. Should I just buy it and use it as, instead of journaling my daily pages here and those random thoughts, I should maybe put it in a random notebook? But then I was like, that can start to get a bit complicated, because if I do the journaling there and the commonplacing and planning here, but then there's also these other things like reading things, for example, reading journal pages that should then also be in a separate notebook. And I feel like that could get complicated, even though that really is a beautiful notebook, and I'm still on the fence whether I should buy it or not. I'm not sure if I'll get a reading journal. That's what I'm trying to say. But I feel like I won't, because it's easier to have it all in here. and then be able to look back at the year. It is harder to find, but still, probably it's for the best to keep everything in this notebook for now. Also, another thing that we're going to be doing is finally setting up this small notebook. This is going to be my portable notebook that I carry everywhere with me, even when I don't carry this one because I do not have space in my bag, in my small tiny bags. I will always carry this one. This will be my physical notes app, and it's a very tiny notebook but has this flap on the back, which is really nice. And it's not on the best of conditions, but I feel like it fits the purpose. You know, these notes and poetry and things like that I want to carry with me on the go whenever I go. And finally, another thing that I could show you before we move on to me showing you some things here is my late commonplace book that you haven't seen in a while. So let's go ahead and let me do a flip through for you guys. So I'm sure that you are familiar with these pages. I did some notes on Babel, a book that I really loved to read last year, and want to reread again. Some books on Anais Nin. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her name. Sometimes I do lyrics from songs, and if you can hear my cat on the back, I'm sorry. Then I sometimes divide them by themes, because that's how a commonplace book is supposed to go. Basically, you grab a bunch of information and divide it by themes, and I really want to get more into this idea. But I need to figure out some things first. For example, here I have some on Virginia Woolf and some other things. Virginia Woolf again, then Sylvia Plath, and that's where we left off. I still have a lot of pages left, and I will continue to do more commonplacing, and maybe even today, because I actually highlighted a lot of quotes that I want to translate here, so maybe we'll do that today. I'm not sure, it depends on the time. But for now, this is what it looks like. So coming back here again, there is this page that I want to show you guys. Hang on. Oh, I could also show you how these last spreads that you saw look on the daylight. They look like this. Hang on. Let me just... There we go. So here are my books for 2024. I haven't read... See, I'll explain. Basically, this year I was a bit disappointed in my reading. Reading is something that I have done for years and I really like to do. I always feel better when I'm reading. But the thing is, I have picked out some books to read. I have bought some books. But from the books that I have read, there were few that I have liked. And even fewer that I was like, this book is a book that I want to reread again. Even so that I have actually reread books that I read in the past. So it wasn't that good of a year for reading. I have left these 2 slots for December. Then here I'll put my favorite book of the year, then books read, books bought, and books that I have not finished that I have given up on. And then here is my books that I have bought and didn't read. And then finally here are some notes on what I am saying, and then habits that I want to implement in 2025, because it's not even about the number of books that is concerning for me. It's the fact that I really did not find books that I really enjoyed to read. Books that I was like, oh my god, this is going to be my new favorite book. Because, for example, I'm not sure if it was last year, that I was talking about Babel. That is a book that I really, really enjoyed, and I will reread and reread again. But for this year, there really wasn't something that stood out a lot. I really like Intermezzo, the new book by Sally Rooney. Really liked A Room of One's Own, the one that we're talking about now. I thought that Fourth Wing and Iron Flame were really fun. I gave it 5 stars because they were fun for me, but it wasn't like it had not all the factors for me to consider it one of my favorite books of all time. And then I was a bit of more in the romance genre. I was trying to read Akotar. I read the first one and I thought it was a bit... And then I read the second one and things started to pick up. So then I bought the third one and I just could not get into it. So I dropped that series. And then from the books that I have bought All the Lights That We Cannot See, and it is a really good book, but I haven't just been in the mood for it. I bought The Hidden Life of Trees, which is a non-fiction, and I feel like that's kind of like this one. I have to sit down and, for example, something that I want to do is always carry a fiction and non-fiction book with me, so I have something to choose from. And then I have The Best of Sherlock Holmes. I have actually started reading this, but since it is divided by stories, I have not read all of them. I am not sure which one I am currently in, but I have read pretty much half, I would say. Then I have bought Shame by Annie Ernaux. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it either. And I have read that it is a really good book. She is a Nobel Prize winner, and so when I saw a Fitzcarraldo, is that how you say it, editions book in my store, I was like, I need to get one, so I did, and maybe that's one that I will read until the end of the year. And then I bought Nexus. I'll put a picture here so you can see. It's also a non-fiction. And finally, I've bought those 2 small penguin books, which are Leonardo da Vinci and Circe and Cyclops. So maybe I will read some of these because, for example, these 2 are smaller, and so is this one until the end of the year. I'm not sure, we'll see. But in terms of habits, that was what I was talking about. For example, I always want to have a book with me, because sometimes I forget and I'm like, my bag is already too heavy, I'm not going to carry the book, and that is a mistake. Because then I spend my free time on my phone, and I already spent a lot of time on screens because that's what I'm studying, and so having a book with me to just take me back from what is my current experience and transporting me to someplace else is always very important, and it always leaves me happy whenever I leave for a little bit and I'm focusing on my book. So I really just need to always carry one with me. And then I saw this creator, which is something that I haven't seen someone doing, which is track the number of pages that they read every day. And it's not even about the number, but it's like I am someone who really likes numbers, not in a mathematician kind of way, but for example in the always knowing what's next and repetition. When I'm stressed, for example, I count 100 to 0 constantly, and it always helps me. And I feel like maybe adding that number aspect to reading could also be interesting to see my progress, and maybe it will motivate me to read more. And then make it a cozy habit. For example, just when I'm at home, grabbing a warm drink, and maybe put those ambience playlists on YouTube, and go on reading dates with myself to different places, which is something that I don't do at all. For example, coffee shops, library, parks, streets. I usually either read at the university or at home, and that's it. I have actually never went to a cafe and read there, and it's something that I want to do because I feel like that will really romanticize it and bring more the experience out of reading. And finally, something that I have thought about. For example, is to like read. I also want to get more into poetry. For example, read a chapter. Maybe chapters are a bit big, but maybe read a poem or a part of a book while we are having breakfast and before we go to sleep. Always have those 2 moments in the day to either start the day and to wind down after the day is over. And then I always read something. So that's I have not written that one down, but I will, because that's something that I want to do more of. I did this setup just using this picture and this washi tape that a pen pal sent me, then this picture of Snoopy reading with a little coffee cup, then these drawings, and this was using the stamps. I do not have any number stamps. Then it was just me writing. So that's what I did yesterday, and this is what motivated me to also just use this notebook to do the bell is not stopping and I don't know why, but I hope it's not too distractive. That's what motivated me to do my notes for this one here. I have written a lot. I will just grab the most important things from each chapter. It has 6 chapters, and then just write them down here, and we're going to do that together in a little bit. So I guess this is my talking segment, and as for plans for 2025, before we start, I am exactly 40 pages in, and this notebook has 138. I will go up to 136, which means that I will most likely be changing up in February, I guess. And so yeah, that means that we'll set up a new one then. I will not be starting one exactly in January, but it's fine too, because also my semester, it ends in January, and then the second semester starts in February, so I feel like that can also help and be a restart as well. So I'm just going to stop here for a moment, and then we're going to start journaling. So I'm back. I have actually finished all the journaling that I'm going to do for today. You have seen me do this part here where I was writing down these quotes, and then I also did what were my intentions for this notebook, and the cover and the back cover. That was it. And as for here, just going to leave it here. Here is the final result. In the beginning of the video, I was talking about how I was not going to get I really like this page, as I was not going to get a reading journal, but after doing this I feel like I will probably get one, because even though I was writing this, I felt like I had more to say, more to explore. Even, I was writing down these quotes and my thoughts, and I felt like I wanted to elaborate more, but I also did not want to use a lot of different pages, because this is not usually the type of spread that I do on this journal. But yeah, I feel like I'm going to get a reading journal and set it up with you guys for 2024, because I really just like to go in depth and I really want to take more notes. For example, there were a lot of authors and people that Virginia Woolf mentioned in this book, and I also wanted to do a mini research on each of the names and things like that, and I could not really do that because I was worried about space. So a reading journal, even though I said I wouldn't, might be on the works. I know already I am flipping through something that you already saw, but yeah, I guess that my conclusion is I will be setting up a reading journal. I just need to find one that I like first. And I really think that this video is already very long. So I hope that you have enjoyed this one, and that everything is okay, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone.